Good morning to you. Welcome to the program this particular morning. Thank you so much for making time for New Dawn here on K24. My name is Brian Amuai, and we are here to bring you up to speed with what you're waking up to this particular morning as far as the news are concerned, and also take a little bit of a look on the newspapers and have a conversation that shapes the agenda of the nation. So what are we talking about today? Well, we are looking at the counties. Well, there is an issue when it comes to funding the counties. Of course, their budget, the county allocation actually having been slashed by 20 billion shillings. We'll be getting into the nitty-gritties of that later on in this particular program. Also, one particular thing that actually gets to stand out as far as counties are concerned rather, is the issue to do with the impeachment. There is a bill that wants to lay down the framework, with the legal framework rather, in which the state officers can actually be impeached following the impeachment motion of Governor Kawira Mwangaza. We'll be getting into the details of that later on. But first, we want to take you through some of the news-making headlines this particular morning and what you're waking up to. Remember to engage us on our socials. That is at Amuai Brian on X at K24 TV. The hashtag we're using this particular morning is New Dawn. We are also live on Facebook and on YouTube. So we do welcome your feedback on those particular social platforms, and we'll be sampling some of it as we continue with the program this particular morning. Listen. Let's take a look at the news this morning. Now, 9 people have died on the spot after 14-seater matatu they were traveling in was involved in a head-on collision with a lorry at Koguta area along the Muhoroni-Londiani junction. Now, this happened in Kericho County Police Commander Geoffrey Mayek said the Tuesday 1:30 p.m. accident claimed the lives of 5 male passengers in the ill-fated matatu, while 4 of the dead were female passengers, with the driver of the lorry fleeing the accident scene in fear of being attacked by the locals. Rahab Kinuthia reports on this particular story.
It was a sad afternoon at the Koguta area along the notorious Londiani-Muhoroni Road, where, once again, lives have been lost to road carnage. This time, 9 left dead. Among the dead was a driver of the matatu. The driver of the Mercedes-Benz lorry, on the other hand, escaped from the scene after causing the accident.
Hii gari ilikuwa natoka huku, na Nissan ilikuwa natoka huku saidi ya Moroni, ilikuwa inaenda Kisumu. Sasa idha nilikuwa nimetoka huku, sasa nikasikia nini lori, nikasikia lori imekuja na nguvu. Sasa hii Nissan, dereva mwenye alikuwa anaendesha Nissan akasema, "Guy, huyu mwenye lori anataka kutua aje." Deka kidogo nimeona hii lori imefinya Nissan chini. Mama mwingine akalia woi, huyu mtu anatua aje, tunapeleka watoto shule. Hii barabara itengenezwe.
According to eyewitnesses, the ill-fated truck was on high speed before it lost control, veering off the road, hitting the Toyota matatu.
Tulikuwa nafuata hiyo lori ilikuwa inakuja na mbio sana. Sasa hiyo lori alikuwa anajaribu kuepa hizo mashimo, na kumbe alisharuhusu control.
Residents are now calling for the recarpeting and expansion of the road, which has continued to be a death trap for road users.
Today's accident follows a series of similar accidents that have been happening along this road. Residents now calling for actions from the government to prevent similar accidents from happening in the near future. Rahab Kinuthia at the Koguta area along the Londiani-Muhoroni Road.
Right, so many accidents reported this particular year. Of course, conversations as a country that we need to have on exactly how do we stop this? Who exactly is responsible for the accidents we're witnessing on the road? Is it poor roads? Is it careless driving? Right, away from that, businessman Jimmy Wanjigi has vowed to go after President William Ruto both in the political and legal arena. This comes as families and victims of protest abductions continue to seek justice, even though many are said to have chosen to remain silent for fear of putting their lives being in danger. Robbie Omondi reports.
Mogul Jimmy Wanjigi has promised to go after President William Ruto, blaming him for being responsible for the illegal abductions in the country.
William Ruto, I am coming for you. I am coming for you in the political arena. I am coming for you in the legal arena. And I'm coming for you with the Constitution of Kenya.
Speaking to members of the press, Wanjigi was joined by families and victims of abductions during the Gen Z protests, who say the memories of illegal abductions and torture is a pillar and a reason to fight for their country.
Were it not for efforts like these, were it not for such pressure, probably I would have been found dead. Sometimes I sit down and reflect, and I see the mere reason why I should also fight for other people, the way my friends and the whole nation fought for me, and they ensured that they remembered my name so that they release me.
Wanjigi accused the head of state of turning the National Police Service into a political militia, despite taking an oath of office to protect Kenyans and defend the Constitution, but has instead violated it.
Are a gross violation of the international law, including the Rome Statute. Abductions are kidnapping. Please understand, the state is kidnapping people.
He further termed the president to be hypocritical, mocking, laughing and demeaning the abducted, disappeared and murdered individuals and their loved ones by insisting that he is not aware of any missing Kenyans.
Read the history of people like Pol Pot of Vietnam, Adolf Hitler. Read the history of Amin Dada, who was just next door to us. Umar Bashir, who created atrocities in Sudan. He is no different. It's not a man to glorify. That is a man to feel shame.
His sentiments were echoed by one Willis Otieno, who insisted they will continue demanding for justice for those abducted and killed during the anti-government protests.
And we are also going to invoke universal jurisdiction in countries that have accepted that concept as a means of achieving redress. So to those police commanders, and even to William Ruto, rest assured that under the universal jurisdiction principle, we will hold you responsible and will try you for these criminal offenses.
Robbie Omondi, K24.
All right, now Acting Inspector General of Police Gilbert Masengeli has been ordered to appear in court on Thursday 5th this month after an order requiring security agencies to produce 3 missing persons was not complied with. This is after Masengeli failed to appear yesterday despite an order by the High Court requiring him to appear in person at 3 p.m. for questioning over the disappearance of 3 people in Kitengela 2 weeks ago. Majibu Kitsao has more.
Despite summons, Acting Inspector General of Police Gilbert Masengeli did not appear in court today.
The court has not been told when the Inspector General left office for official reasons. It has also not been told why he could not attend virtual sessions in the morning.
Earlier on, High Court Judge Lawrence Mugambi had ordered Masengeli to appear before him in person to explain why 3 men abducted in Kitengela have not been released. The judge had ordered the release of Njagi, Aslam Longton and Jamil Longton, or their production in court either alive or dead. This didn't happen.
Having failed to obey the 2 court orders, the first respondent equally failed to obey the 3rd one that required him to attend this court this afternoon. The courts are teeth and can bite.
The acting IG has now been ordered to appear in court on Thursday this week. LSK filed the case stating that several reports have been made that the 3 were abducted by armed police officers, taken away and held incommunicado at undisclosed locations.
What is happening today is another injustice because the families of the Longton brothers, the wife was here in court and heavily pregnant. The family members of the 2 are also here in court. The family of Bob Njagi could not even attend because of the kind of anguish that they have been going through, only to come to court for another disappointment.
We have an expectation that come 2 days from now, the Inspector General will be with us in court to explain the whereabouts of the 3, the Kitengela 3. They are not people who are not known to the police service.
Drama was also witnessed at Milimani Court during the hearing of a case involving Boniface Mwangi and 4 others who are under investigation for allegations of unlawful assembly, false fabrication, and creating disturbance. Presiding Magistrate Gilbert Shikwe declined an application by the state to extend miscellaneous application for 2 weeks to enable the DPP to make a decision on whether to charge the 5 or not, saying that the complainant was not in court and there was not enough evidence to extend the detention time. Boniface Mwangi, Robert Otieno, Albert Wambugu, Pablo Chacha, and Erot Franco appeared in court this morning for a mention of application filed on 26th July. Majibu Kitao for K24 TV, Nairobi.
Now, the National Treasury could be yet again be thrown into limbo on where and how to generate 20 billion Kenya shillings to finance the equitable share to counties, which the Senate Finance and Budget Committee now defends at 400.1 billion shillings. According to stakeholders who participated in the public hearing of the Division of Revenue Bill of 2024, among them the County Assemblies Forum and ISPAC, slashing county budgets due to revenue shortfalls is against the Constitution and also risks halting of service delivery to Kenyans. Joel Chacha has more.
On that matter, our position is we need to go to mediation.
Just a week after the Intergovernmental Budget and Economic Council failed to agree on reduction of the equitable share to counties after withdrawal of the Finance Bill 2024, the National Treasury is now being thrown into a limbo on how to raise additional 20 billion Kenya shillings.
Pursuant of the DORA Act, counties' revenues are not supposed to be reduced after the passage of the Division of Revenue Allocation Act.
The reduction from the current 400.1 billion Kenya shillings to 380 billion Kenya shillings has been rejected by the members of the county assemblies under the Umbrella County Assemblies Forum CAF.
Such a reduction is unjustified and lacks any constitutional or legal basis, posing a significant threat to the operational viability of the county government and the effective delivery of the services to the citizen.
CAF, backed by ISPAC, hold the position that it's against the spirit of devolution and the law to target county budgets due to revenue shortfalls, arguing that it would set a dangerous precedence.
CAF advocates for a revenue sharing framework that is fair, predictable, and aligned with the principle of devolution as enshrined in the Constitution.
The Institute feels that there are a lot that these counties are bearing. There are emerging issues that have come along, including these costs such as affordable housing levy. There is increase in NSSF.
ISPAC is also blaming Parliament for its slow speed in auditing the Auditor General's report, which the Division of Revenue is based on.
The public is currently up to date and they actually are auditing as we speak on the current issues. So it's time that Parliament ups its game, approves the audited financial years in time.
To this end, all signs indicate that the Finance and Budget Committee of the Senate is ready to defend counties to receive their allocation of 400.1 billion, a move that will trigger a mediation committee being formed with the National Assembly.
I think it should be there that we can reject the bill in its entirety and still go to mediation.
It's important we process this as informed as possible so that even when we engage with our counterparts, it's going to inform them a little bit better.
Joel Chacha, K24 TV, Nairobi.
Now, China has agreed to allow agricultural products from Kenya to be sold in its markets following an agreement between President William Ruto and the Chinese President Xi Jinping. Now, Ruto, who is attending the 9th session of the China-Africa Cooperation Forum in Beijing, says the agreement was reached after a meeting between the two presidents. Ruto also mentioned that they have agreed on infrastructure projects such as extending the standard gauge railway and expanding the Rironi Mau Summit Malaba Road.
A day after President William Ruto arrived in China, today he held a meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping in Beijing ahead of the China-Africa Summit. During the meeting, President of China agreed to allow agricultural products from Kenya into the Chinese market, a move that President Ruto said will boost the export of Kenyan produce.
Continue to cooperate with the government of Kenya in the early works, utilizing our best resources and advantages in the agriculture and water sector, so as to commence the construction of the project as soon as possible.
However, the export of avocados from Kenya has not performed well in the Chinese market after sales dropped by 80%.
Kenya-China Comprehensive Partnership Agreement, a strategic partnership that is based on a people-to-people engagement framed on programs that are mutually beneficial between our two countries.
The two leaders also agreed to advance infrastructure projects in Kenya, including the expansion of the standard gauge railway SGR and the construction of the Rironi Mau Summit Malaba Road.
The necessity of having this infrastructure is agreed across the region, and it's not a Kenyan project. It is actually a regional project in line with the Belt and Road Initiative of the Chinese government.
According to President Ruto, these projects have made Kenya a transportation hub not only in the East African region but also across the continent.
There are opportunities around solar as well, but I think your target on wind energy is a very appropriate target.
Alongside Ruto's visit, Raila Odinga will also meet with African leaders to seek support for his bid to be elected as the chairperson of the African Union Commission, AUC. Mariam Jahid, K24, Nairobi.
Now, one person died with 6 others currently nursing injuries after armed men attacked a bus plying the Moyale-Nairobi route on Monday night. Now, the bus was en route to Nairobi when it was suddenly attacked by unknown people armed with guns.
According to a police report, a bus carrying 50 passengers that was en route to Nairobi was suddenly attacked by unknown people armed with guns who sprayed passengers with bullets between Bori Junction and Dadach Lakole along the Moyale-Marsabit highway. Casualties have since been rushed to nearby hospitals to receive medical treatment. Elsewhere, transport along the Mombasa-Nairobi highway was paralyzed for close to 3 hours at Makindu Township on Tuesday as boda riders protested the killing of one of their members. The body of the deceased, Joseph Kamala, was found in a thicket near the Makindu Township on Monday after he was reported missing on Saturday.
Kitika sana kwa sababu tumeweza kumpoteza kijana ambaye alikuwa ametegemewa katika familia na ni kijana ambaye tulikuwa tunatarajia mengi kutoka kwake. Hakuwa msumbufu. Kama familia tumepoteza kijana mchanga.
Kitu iko na mpango na watu ambao walituahidi kutakuwa kukipotea mmoja baada ya mwingine. Yes. Na tunawajua. Tutawataja jina kwa jina na tutajambuliana na wao siku kwenda nyingine.
Mmerukia vijana wetu wa bodaboda. Mtu ametia bidii anakuja kuuliwa pikipiki ikiwa imebakisha 3,000. Hiyo ni ungwana. Sasa tunatangaza hivi. Tutaweka maandamano kutoka leo. Makueni County. Si hapa Makindu.
The boda operators faulted the police for their negligence amidst the rampant insecurity incidents in the region.
Polisi ya Makindu haifanyi kazi. Yes. Na ndiposa unaona kwa leo tutawasikiza. Hatuwezi kubali.
In other news, human rights activists in Siaya County alongside members of the public have urged the government to allegedly stop dumping bodies in River Yala. Speaking outside the Siaya County Referral Hospital, Haki Kwetu official Joshua Otieno Oduor blamed the government for not taking any action to stop the practice many years since the first incident was reported.
And that is not the Siaya. We have some.
Oduor had accompanied family members and colleagues of a deceased teacher whose body was found dumped in River Yala.
A time has come
that they should come out and make sure that the security of the people around Riala, and also to come out very clearly to tell us what is happening here and there again, because we are seeing many of the bodies which are being found in River Yala. They are coming from outside Siaya County.
Anthony Kwemoi, K24 TV.
A section of Kenya Union of Post-Primary Teachers KUPPET have labelled the decision to call off the strike as betrayal, saying their demands have not yet been met. Now this comes just a day after KUPPET called off their strike. Led by Vihiga Branch Executive Secretary Sabala Inyeni in Kisumu Town, the teachers now want the national leadership of KUPPET, headed by Secretary General Akelo Missouri, to resign immediately. They have further accused Missouri of not following proper procedures in calling off the strike. This as the leaders from Nyanza and Western regions vow to continue with the teacher strike.
So you can imagine, they come to ratify. What are you ratifying? They are always aware. We are not happy, and this is the worst thing that has ever happened to the trade union movement. In fact, last weekend, we got support of even the national community. KOTU was supporting this strike. So who is this that is pushing the national office? And who is this that is making them to feel so cowed? Because the way I've told you, niliona viongozi wa kitaifa wakiwa na wasiwasi sana. Walikuwa wanaonekana kama wamenyeshewa. Wanaonekana watu ambao kuna wasiwasi, sijui walikuwa wamefinywa wapi. Na kuamka na kusema kama mgomo imesitishwa. Tumekasirishwa sana na jambo hilo, na ndio maana tunasema, kwa sababu sasa walimu wamepoteza imani kabisa na uongozi wao wa chama wa kitaifa. The only thing national office inaweza kutufanyia, na tunaomba kwa hisani yao, waweze kujiondoa mamlaka.
They will have informed us early enough that today there will be a meeting that will be done between the union and the Teacher Service Commission, so that we inform our teachers early in the morning that there is a meeting and we expect something to be coming out of that meeting. Even if it is 80% of the issues, they could have come out and told us, so that when we close the demonstrations, we also inform our members that these are the issues that have been addressed.
All right, that story takes us to a break here on New Dawn. Of course, when we come back, we'll be taking a look at what you're waking up to as far as newspapers are concerned, and also have a conversation with a focus on the county governments here in the country. I'll be speaking to Honorable Chege Mwaura, who is the member of County Assembly, Ngara Ward here in Nairobi, and also the Secretary General of the County Assemblies Forum. And of course, Senator Gloria Oroba, who is already in studio, and the Member of Parliament for Soi will also be joining us this particular morning for a conversation that seeks to shape the agenda of the nation. My name is Brian Amwai. Don't go too far. We'll be back in a few.
The biggest reggae and rhythm show ever on Kenyan television.
You have a ganja man and you wanna forget. Tell them nothing about